All right, let's jump right in. We're going to be breaking down the core principles from the DevOps Handbook, ideas that are absolutely crucial for architecting with agility. Now, if you're studying enterprise architecture, listen up, because these aren't just buzzwords, this is pretty much the blueprint for how modern, high-performing companies get things done.
It's, quote, it really nails the single biggest problem that DevOps was created to solve. It's this core chronic conflict, as the authors call it. You've got development, whose job is to push out new features and react to the market fast, and then you've got IT operations, whose job is to keep everything stable and reliable. You see the problem, right?
And look, this isn't just teams not getting along or some minor office politics. This clash between go fast and don't break things is a direct threat to the entire business. It's what leads to agonizingly slow delivery, big bang failures when you finally do release, and, well, ultimately, it makes you unable to compete.
For decades, everyone just accepted this as a zero-sum game. It's like, okay, pick one. You can either get new features out the door, but your customers are going to suffer with bugs and outages, or you can have a rock-solid, stable service, but it'll take you a year to launch a simple new feature. And if you're an architect, you are stuck right in the middle of that tug-of-war.
This is the big, revolutionary question at the heart of DevOps. What if it's not a choice? What if you could break that conflict? The book lays out a framework called the 3 Ways, and it's designed to do just that. It's about achieving both speed and stability, not as a trade-off, but as things that actually help each other.
So how do we actually pull this off? Well, the whole framework kicks off with what's called the first way, and it's all about looking at the entire system of work and just making it faster.
The first way is all about the technology value stream. Think of it like a factory assembly line, but for software. It's the entire journey from a business idea all the way to delivering that idea as actual value to a real customer. And the goal? Make that journey as smooth and fast as possible. Get rid of all the bottlenecks, the waiting, the rework, anything that slows things down.
Now, you don't just get this magical flow for free. It takes real discipline. Things like limiting how many things you're working on at once to stop the madness of multitasking. But honestly, the real game changer here is reducing batch sizes, breaking those massive, scary, year-long projects into tiny, manageable, and safe little changes that can just glide through the system.
And this is where you, as an enterprise architect, become absolutely critical. You can have the best team and the best processes in the world, but if your architecture is a giant traffic jam, nothing's going to move. This means we have to fundamentally shift how we think and start designing our systems for deployability.
Let's be real. The tightly coupled monolith is the enemy of flow. It's this giant, tangled beast where if you touch one small part, you risk breaking the whole thing and have to redeploy everything. In total contrast, a loosely coupled, service-oriented architecture is a direct enabler of the first way. It allows small, autonomous teams to work independently and get value out the door super fast.
Okay, speed is awesome, but speed without any guardrails is just a faster way to drive off a cliff. So flow is our gas pedal. Now we need brakes and a steering wheel. That is where the second way comes in, and it's all about building a safer system.
So if the first way is about speeding up the flow of work out to the customer, the second way is all about creating super fast feedback loops that flow in the other direction, back from the system. We want to find problems the second they happen, right at the source, not weeks later during a production fire when nobody can remember what they changed.
So how do we get this fast feedback? The short answer is data. Lots and lots of data. We're talking about something called pervasive telemetry. It just means you instrument everything. Your code, your infrastructure, your pipelines, so they are constantly telling you how they're doing. It's like giving your whole system a central nervous system, so you can feel pain the instant it occurs.
And check this out. This isn't just a nice to have. The business impact is staggering. Look at the data from the State of DevOps report. Elite performers, the ones who have mastered this feedback stuff, they can resolve major incidents in less than an hour. Low performers, they can be down for more than a week. As an architect, this is how you make the business case for investing in good monitoring tools.
All right, so we have speed from the first way, we have safety from the second way. So what's missing? The third way is all about creating a culture that uses that speed and safety to get smarter, stronger, and more resilient over time.
This principle starts with an idea that feels a little radical, but it's absolutely true. In any complex system, failure is going to happen. It's inevitable. So the goal isn't to prevent every single failure. The The goal is to get really, really good at learning from failure and building a high-trust culture where people aren't afraid to experiment and try new things.
And this model from sociologist Ron Wistrom is just brilliant. We've all worked in these places, right? The pathological, power-oriented culture where messengers with bad news get shot. The bureaucratic one where failure just leads to more rules and paperwork. But then there's the generative, performance-oriented culture. This is where we want to be. It's where failure leads to learning and new ideas are actually welcomed.
And if you want to see this idea taken to its absolute extreme, look at Netflix. These guys don't just wait for failure to happen, they actually cause it themselves, on purpose. Their Chaos Monkey tool randomly goes around and shuts down servers in their live production environment. It sounds crazy, but it's genius, because it forces their architects to design for resilience from day one.
Okay, so we've got the 3 principles down. Let's pull it all together now and see how these ideas can solve one of the gnarliest problems any architect faces: security. We all know the old model, right? You build something for months, you're finally ready to launch, and then you throw it over the wall to the security team, who, of course, find a million problems and slam on the brakes. The new way of thinking is called shifting left, and it just means we pull security out of the end of the line and make it part of everyone's job, right from the very beginning.
And this pipeline is a perfect map of the 3 ways in action. We improve flow by designing security into the architecture from the start. We create fast feedback by automating security checks right into our deployment pipelines. And we enable continual learning by constantly monitoring for threats in production. This is exactly what it looks like to build security into your CI/CD pipelines.
So what does all this mean for you, the architect? It means your role has fundamentally changed. Your job isn't to be a gatekeeper anymore, handing down rigid blueprints from an ivory tower. Your job is to be an enabler, to architect the system of work that empowers teams to deliver value quickly, safely, and with resilience.
And I'll leave you with that question to really chew on. The principles of DevOps challenge us to think way beyond our technical diagrams. They ask us to consider how every single one of our architectural decisions, from choosing microservices to automating security, can either help or hinder our organization's journey to becoming a place of speed, safety, and constant learning.